Every single fiat-based system throughout history has failed, and they all last around a century. The dollar, its time is coming up. These systems are designed to fail. We are trying to get ourselves out of debt by replacing it with more debt. That's like trying to pay off a credit card with another credit card. It's going to catch up, and it has. If you've ever seen a chart of what happened to the dollar as soon as we got rid of the gold standard, it's laughable and sad. The truth is, people are now starting to wake up to the reality of this corrupt financial system. I think COVID really exposed how broke the United States is, as we are $34 trillion in debt, and the dollar has lost 98% of its original purchasing power. With that said, we're going to be covering an article titled "Currency Risks Will Drive Gold and Silver Sky High by the End of the Year." And they're mentioning gold and silver prices may continue to consolidate in the near term, and the rally in precious metals is only getting started, according to commodity analysts at BMO Capital Markets. I definitely could see why this would be happening, though. It's very safe to say that throwing hundreds of billions of dollars overseas and funding wars that we're not even a part of before we're even taking care of our own citizens is going to rub some people the wrong way. Well, not only from a political standpoint, but from a financial standpoint, from an economic standpoint, from a geopolitical standpoint, it's all going to catch up. Just like when stimulus happened back during COVID. It's like, yeah, you got a $1,700 check, but at what cost? That money's coming from somewhere. At the same time, they see gold and silver prices averaging, or gold's price at least, averaging around $2,100 an ounce, a 12% increase from December's estimates. Gold prices are expected to average around $2,000 an ounce in 2026, $1,950 in 2027, an increase in 8% and 3% respectively from the December estimates. That is highly, highly unlikely. Gold already broke well above $2,000 an ounce, and it's only 2024. So for someone to say in 2026 gold is going to be $2,000 an ounce is very laughable. And to say it's 11% up from its previous forecast shows right there, because they had this forecast probably when gold was like 1,800, not thinking it would already break all-time highs within the next couple of months, let's say a year after giving that forecast. For some reason, people are extremely bearish or modest when it comes to precious metals. You always mention like 3% increase or something along the lines of just moving up or down a couple dollars with silver and up a couple hundred or down a couple $100 with gold. These same people, I don't think, realize the bigger picture or realize all the different factors, especially what silver has going for it, or where it really sits right now, fundamentally at least, too. So at the same time, they see next year gold averaging around $2,100 an ounce. Looking at silver, BMO sees the white metal averaging around $25.60 an ounce this year, up 13% from the December forecast. The price is expected to average around $25.30 an ounce next year, 11% from the previous estimate. See, all these estimates, these forecasts are not legitimate, they're not accurate whatsoever. And to say that silver will only jump $1, well, actually 30 cents as of right now, only 30 cents over the next year, given everything that's going on, is laughable. So this year, BMO sees gold prices averaging $22.50 an ounce in the fourth quarter, 13% increase from the previous estimate. At the same time, they expect the final quarter of the year with silver at $28 an ounce, a $22 increase from December forecast, a $22 increase from the December forecast. June gold futures last traded $2,214 an ounce. I guess the whole moral of the story is forecasts, take it how you want. We're living in crazy times. I'm not sitting here saying that silver is going to explode tomorrow, but there is a lot of great research, articles, charts, data out there pointing to something much more bullish than just a 30 cents increase in the next year. Here's a great article that I'll probably show on stream. This is David Morgan talking about how silver will break through $50 and beyond. There's another article, silver price in triple digits. Is this rational possibility or a dream? I'll be breaking that down as well. Take it how you want. Nobody thought Bitcoin would go past $5,000 and now it's sitting at 70,000. So nobody really can predict anything, especially with what's happening and all the unknown variables that's going to continue to happen until November's election and after that. So, quote, given no politician is likely to be elected by promising to spend less than a year loaded with elections across key democracies. That's a good point. There is certainly a chance that later in the year, we may see further currency concerns supporting precious metals performance as a new era of elevated fiscal spending across the global economies gathering traction. The analyst said in the report, quote, while we see some consolidation in the current range through mid-year, we expect further sequential gains in H2 as the U.S. rate cut cycle starts to gather pace and geopolitical tensions rise as the U.S. election nears. This could be one of the rare years where both macro and retail investors increase exposure to precious metals. And that's another good point. People do not trust governments, especially when there's wars going on and there's so much, the nation's in a very bad spot. So people are more susceptible to not only just like prepping, but just going against the grain, or maybe looking at videos like mine and saying, hey, there might be something to this. Maybe my money in my bank isn't as safe as I thought it was. I talked to so many of you on the phone, and you guys tell me stories about you're talking to your buddy or your wife or whoever, and they just look at you like you're crazy, and you're trying to, it's so frustrating because you could see that they're still oblivious, and that aha moment hasn't hit them. Some it never will. So while gold remains or regains its luster as a risk hedge, BMO also said expect the market to remain well supported by price-insensitive central banks. BMO also said that silver will remain supported by industrial demand and weak supply growth. Quote, historically, money might have been invested in property as a default position. However, as has always been widely discussed, this sector continues to face major structural issues which are impacting buyer confidence. That's a good point. People need to see that validation and that confirmation that the price can go up. It's so weird, but it makes sense from a psychological perspective. It's much easier to want to jump on silver once you see the price already rising. And it's very hard to jump on it before it rises, even though that's when you're supposed to. You're supposed to buy low and then sell high. Don't buy it while it's already high. Don't buy gold at all-time highs, the highest price, the most expensive it's ever been. You get in before the curve, right? Buy silver now when it's cheap. Most people are going to be buying silver once it's already past $50 and everyone's talking about it. That's the wrong time to enter. But that's just what happens. People need validation. True silver stackers don't need that validation. We already know what its true value is. So that was a good point, even kind of adding on top of what they were mentioning. But this is something very interesting as well. So with gold, exposures become a necessity for Chinese portfolios as they continue to expect disinflation and income uncertainty. Quote, recent weeks have seen vast layoffs at the world's largest solar manufacturer, which is LONGi Green Technology, while there have been a number of news articles around poor utility return on solar installations in Europe. And speaking of Europe, there's another great article that I wanted to cover, the role of London as a global hub in commodity trading. It breaks down a very, very well-written and detailed article about the commodity trading hubs of London and how this factors in with precious metals. So I'm going to break this down probably in another video because they mentioned the LME and a lot of stuff that I find interesting. You may not, you might not, but I definitely do. So stay tuned for that. I'll be making a video on that, and I'm also going to be making a video on this article. World Bank reveals why central banks are dumping greenbacks for gold. We also have this article, silver price in triple digits. Is this rational possibility or a dream? We have some news right here. Silver price forecast struggling amid alternative asset competition. And this goes into several reasons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different reasons of what silver's price is doing or what's pushing and pulling the price. Then you have the David Morgan interview. This is talking about silver tests $25 again despite higher final fourth quarter. And there's a lot of information out here, and that's why I highly recommend you subscribe. We also have this article, 10 things to ask before buying physical gold, silver, or other metals. This is a really good one because it dives into IRAs. How do you find a reputable dealer? Should you respond to precious metals dealers who give you cold calls? Or what is a gold IRA? What's spot price? What's the spread? What are the fees and commissions I'll be charged? What other costs should I consider? What's the difference between bullion and numismatics? Other ways to own precious metals? This is a very important one I'm going to break down. I'll definitely have to push this into my own, just a full video itself. I think this is going to help a lot of people since a lot of people do ask me questions about IRAs. So I'll definitely be tackling this article as well. So yeah, there's a lot to cover. There's never not enough information out there, especially for me to cover as a channel that helps people is preserving your wealth in a time that is beyond insane and extremely uncertain. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you wanted to purchase gold or silver or platinum or whatever, just email me, slayer@milesfranklin.com. Right now, Kruger Ranch, 310 over spot. I think it's 10th ounce gold maples, $35 over melt, and we also have 1 ounce palladium bars, $119 over spot. But we have tons of stuff, right? I think Eagles are 535 over spot. We have like 10 different types of 10 ounce bars and 100 ounce bars. A lot of stuff, massive inventory. Just email me, I'll hook you guys up. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. Oh yeah, if you wanted to also join the Secret Stacking Club, links in the description. It's my Patreon. That's also a really cool place I'm going to start building as well. It's a community for silver stackers to hang out and talk to each other, prizes, all types of fun stuff over there. Anyways, yeah, this is Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.